Yo, so what's going on, everybody? I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Real Talks with Rico. It'll be a little bit more of a serious one today. Not that it has anything particular towards me or anything like that, but I've got some family members going through some things, and some people I know who are going through some things, and I don't want to talk about what they're going through, but I more want to kind of offer some advice from my own standpoint. And I thought that a really good way that I could do that would be to sort of bring up an experience of mine and the result that came out of it. Now, going into that, I want to say that for anybody who knows the podcast, knows me from the podcast, knows that I have like my tattoos and stuff, and I have one tattoo in particular that I feel really resonates with, anything that I go through, anything that anybody goes through, but it really resonates with the family and friends that I have where, they're going through some things right now. So last year around this time, wasn't a great time for me. A lot of shit had happened. Things like that. Ended up in a very depressed state, which I hope to never be in again, though it does happen with the bipolar episodes. But I know that at one point I had gotten a tattoo, and it's on my chest, and at first it was just kind of like a butterfly outline. I think it was actually pretty dope, and it was just a butterfly. I wanted to add more to it, I just didn't know what, but I had got that because, for anybody who knows, I think and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but I think like the butterfly that lives the longest is maybe like a month or so. I'm not sure. But I know that once caterpillar, does the cocoon thing, goes into a butterfly, I think it's maybe like 2 or 3 days before they just snuff out of existence. And I got that because that, for me, was a representation of, for a short amount of time, I had such beautiful things in my life for it to just be taken away. And then as I got further into the depressed state, I started thinking about relationships and, just being happy overall. And for me, I was in a very dark place where I felt that happiness just wasn't in the cards for me, and even if it wasn't going to last very long at all, so what the hell was the point? So, for me, I got the words, "nothing lasts forever," added right next to the butterfly, which, in a way kind of fits. Butterflies don't last forever. Not everything lasts forever. You can take that as a negative, but if you also look at it, you can also take it as a positive. And what I mean by that is, even with situations that I've been in, things I've gone through, I've always felt that, exactly that. Nothing lasts forever. Like, the good times don't last. It always goes dark. It always goes to some other type of bullshit. And for a while that sat with me, and it really instilled itself into my mind to where the darkest place I went was, now if you talk to Tommy Guns, and he's absolutely right on this the more I think about it, I got nowhere near as bad in my drinking as I could have. But for me, I was pretty bad off. I was literally drinking every day, all day. The only time I didn't drink was when I had my kids, and even then, I was fiending for it, but I fought through that because I don't need to be drinking when I have my kids. B, they don't need to see me drinking. C, it just don't need to fucking happen. So, those were the only days that I didn't do it, but the days that I was alone where the depression would hit me the hardest and stuff like that, yo ass best believe I was drinking like a motherfucker. And I didn't care. And I started going out, and sometimes I'd go out and I'd be a little bit depressed, I'd be more reserved, kind of more inwards towards myself and stuff like that, didn't really talk much. But then there were times I was just like, fuck it, get a few drinks in me, and next thing you know, I'm the life of the party. And I was doing that to mask the shit that I was dealing with. And for that moment, it would especially instill in my mind, nothing lasts forever. That feeling of being okay and little bit of happiness and being able to have fun. It didn't last forever because once the alcohol wore off, it's back to being depressed me. And I hated that. And then, I started being more health conscious. I started going to the gym more. I started taking my frustrations about life and myself and the way that I was and people and everything, and I let it out there. Just like some do in music, some do in writing, some do in a boxing ring. Some do it however you do it. Just find a way to constructively, safely, and positively get it out of your system. And for me, that was the gym. And now the more that I look at it, I look at this tattoo that I have kind of the same way that I have to look at life, where it's two sides of the same coin. Yeah, nothing good lasts forever. It really don't. But you know what? Nothing bad lasts forever either. And it took me a while to learn that. And my depressed state, I really did hit rock bottom. And I had a very good support system to help me through that. But at the same time, that support system was there to help me when I needed it. But I had to be the one to learn to get out of it myself. I had to dig deeper than rock bottom to find that strength that I am. And I know everybody says it nowadays, and it's almost become like a cliche kind of thing to say, but perfect example, I'm gonna use the Lion King reference. Rafiki was there to be that support system for Simba, and then he's seen the ghost of Mufasa, and he was like, remember who you are. And Simba remembered who he was. And in all honesty, it took that for me, and it took me to have to really figure out what I wanted and to dig deep down. And I wish that I could say that it was really myself, but one of the things, along with my support system, the one thing that really pushed me was when I finally got the chance to break through all that rock and all that hurt and that hard place. First thing I saw was my kids, and in my mind, they were there and they reminded me, and in my mind, they reminded me that I am strong. I am a good person. I am a protector. I do have a heart. And that pushed me. And I know that, that's a great thing for me, but the biggest thing that helped me through it was being able to, in my mind, see my kids telling me that, and then realizing that, that's really what I thought about myself. And that's because that's what I thought about myself. That's how they saw me. And even to this day, I will tell you that, and even my kids will tell you that, the safest place for them is with me. Because I will do whatever it takes, no questions asked, no hesitation, to keep my kids safe. And anybody who knows me knows that that's a true statement. Whatever the fuck it takes, I will cross whatever line. But the point was, it showed me that I am stronger. It showed me that I do have people who rely on me, but the biggest thing is they can't rely on me if I can't rely on myself. And I started seeing things in a more positive way. So that's how nothing lasts forever goes into a positive. Now, for the people who this post is about, nothing lasts forever. Right now, y'all are going through some negative times. For one of the people, you're going through a negative time, and it couldn't have come at worse timing because of everything else you've dealt with around this time in the past. But I'm here for you, and I promised you, just like I made a promise to somebody else, but I promise you, it will not last forever. These hard times will not last. And to a friend of mine who's going through some things right now, this little period that you're in, it's not going to last forever. If there's one thing that I've always tried to preach to people, it's that The problems of today hold no sway over tomorrow. Today you're down, tomorrow you might be down. And I know that, they say tomorrow's not promised, but you always have to look at it as, whether it's promised or not, when you lay down at night, those problems need to go away. When you go to bed, wake up, it's a new day. Think about new things. Don't sit there and dwell and think that everything that you're going through right now is just going to stay. And it's going to keep you down, and it's going to keep you held down. It's going to keep you in a horrible mental state and things like that. That's not the truth. The truth of the matter is that you are going to find that strength that you need. You're going to find the strength that you have, and you're going to push forward. And on those times when you feel like you can't push forward, if you have a support system, rely on them. I had to learn how to do it. If you don't have a support system, fuck it, I'm your support system now. I got you. I will do whatever I can to make sure that you get that support. I will spot you. I will do whatever I can to help lift you back up. I'm going to help you get back to your strength if I have to. But that's what you're going to do. This shit will not last. It's not going to last forever. I need y'all to believe that. I've gone through enough shit now. And I talked to somebody at work the other day because occasionally we do have real conversations. And this is a person who I see is normally very happy. I never really see them bothered. And they were talking to me about how, some people are so steeped in their own misery that they want everybody else to be miserable. And I realized that about myself a while ago, that I was always miserable. I wanted people to be miserable because my misery wanted company. And that wasn't it for me. And that's when I started kind of telling myself the problems of today hold no sway over tomorrow. And talking to this person, they were like, yo, you're absolutely right on that. That is a great thing to think. And I tell myself that every morning when I wake up. Whatever happens today, it ain't gonna affect my tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. And with each new day, just like with each new year, brings new beginnings. And you have to know that. So this is my way of just coming through and, letting y'all know that, listen, it's not always going to be dark. It's not always going to be nighttime. Eventually the sun does shine. You just got to fight through it. Always remember your own strength. And you'd be surprised at how much strength you can find when you hit rock bottom. I recently reconnected with a friend of mine. And, we had a heart-to-heart. And they reminded me that at one point, they remembered that I lived by this ideal that I needed to be Superman for everybody. The one thing I couldn't do was be Superman for myself, but I was Superman for everybody else. And the one thing that, really hit me was the fact when I told them that I don't feel like Superman anymore. And that kind of bothered them because that person also gave me that nickname. But it took me forever to realize that I'm okay just being a normal person. I'm not Superman. I can try to live up to the ideals, but I will never fully be Superman. But at the same exact time, by trying to live by those ideals and trying to help people in any way that I can, just a human Superman. And I try not to let that get to my head because I know that I'm not going to be able to help everybody. And yes, that does bother me. But at the same time, even if I can put a smile on one person's face a day, even if I can make something very simple for them, that's all I care about. And it hits me. And I find now that I'm okay not being Superman. I'm okay not having to rely on the Rico personality to get me through everything. I've been Rico for so many years since I was a teenager that at 32, I'm finally realizing that Enrique is not such a bad person. He's a good person. He is the better parts of me. He is the stronger parts of me. And he's a part of me that, well, technically he is me, and I never thought I'd see him again. I thought I let that, Rico personality or that Rico armor completely take over, and I thought that that was going to be who I was for the rest of my life, and that too goes in nothing lasts forever, because now I'm in a better place mentally. I'm not trying to be conceited, because I know I'm not the best looking motherfucker in the world, but at a physical standpoint, I'm definitely a lot better than I've ever been. I don't even know what size this hoodie is. This hoodie actually belonged to my oldest. It wasn't, he's not big enough to fit into it, and I didn't think it was going to fit me, because it's like a large, and this shit is kind of baggy on me. And even looking at myself in the mirror today, I see the work that I've done on myself, not just in the gym, but also with how I feel about myself when I'm at, my job now, and on a physical standpoint, I'm a lot stronger, and I really like that. So, I know it seems like I went on a little bit of a tangent, but again, nothing lasts forever. Whether it's the good, which sucks, whether it's the bad, it doesn't last forever. But you also need to realize, too, that if you don't want it to last forever, you've got to kind of help get yourself out of that state. You know what I'm saying? So just please keep your head up. Please listen to me. It does not last forever. The bad will not last. You will find your way through it. Even if my dumb ass gotta come through with a fucking super bright flashlight, push you, pull you, you can put your arm around me and I'll support you through it. I don't care. It don't last forever. And that is why, as much as I love all of my tattoos and what they mean to me, I think that butterfly and those words resonate with everything that I try to look at nowadays the best, and it's probably one of my favorites. I've seen beauty in life, and like many people, I've seen the ugly parts of life, and I still push through. Not just for my kids, not just for my family, but because I need to. Because I need to be that person. I want to be a beacon of hope for people. And that's why I do these real talks now. That's why I do this podcast with Tommy, and that's why I am the way that I am. Some people might consider me an asshole, but I'm going to give you, to quote a friend of mine, the real. I'm going to let y'all know what I'm thinking. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to be 100% real with you. I'm going to keep shit unfiltered. It's exactly what it is. You might hate me for it at first, but at some point, hopefully you're going to listen to me. And there's a friend of mine that I had to talk to last night, and, we talked about some real shit going on with them, and I hope that for once you decide to listen to me, to trust in what I'm saying, and know that I've got your back, no matter what. Doesn't change, won't ever change. You mean the world to me, always have, and you always will. So I hope that this little episode here has helped somebody. I hope it will help somebody. And just know that you can always reach out to me. Personal Facebook is Rico Torres. Personal Instagram is rtorres_fit. You can find me at rtorres_fit on Twitter, or just hit me up on the podcast pages, whether it be the Facebook or the Instagram. Both things RCYJ Podcast. I'm going to do what I can to help you out. Some people need that. They need that help. They need that little bit of a push. And no matter what you're going through, I will try to understand. I will try to help out how I can. And I will use what strength I can to help move you along. But I also know that my strength is going to be... It's not going to compare to the strength you have in yourself. The strength I have for me and in myself is my strength, and it pushes me through my shit. Your strength is going to be completely different than mine. It's going to be all for you, and it could be the strongest. It could be, strength that's more than mine, because I struggle a lot too. But if I can help you find that and then you can start believing in yourself and using that more. That's all I care about. At that point, I've done my job. I've been Superman, and I don't look for glory or nothing like that. I'm not even looking for a thank you. I just hope that one day you can acknowledge that you are in a better place. So thank y'all for joining up. Real Talks with Rico, where you get to see a little bit more of a serious side of me. Check this out on the YouTube, obviously, RCYJ Podcast. And get ready, because with the podcast, I'm going to continue to bring the funny. That's exactly what it is. So, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I got y'all. Nothing lasts forever. It's exactly what it is. So y'all have a good day. I'm going to get up in here. I got to go record with Tommy Guns. We about to have a funny episode for y'all this week too. So, I mean, go ahead and check that out. Why wouldn't you? Get ready for some laughs, because it also starts our guest bonanza. So, I love you. I appreciate y'all.